Ever notice how some men never chase women and yet women seem to chase them? Meanwhile, the guys who try the hardest are the ones who get ignored, ghosted, or friend-zoned. Why does this happen? Because the men who never chase women think differently. Their mindset makes them magnetic, confident, and almost irresistible. Today, I'm going to break it all down for you. But fair warning, this might challenge everything you thought you knew about attraction. Here's what I'll cover. First, the mindset shifts that make women naturally come to you. Then, the behaviors that separate the men who are chased from the ones doing the chasing. And finally, how you can apply these changes instantly. I'm Cynthia, your UK girl. Hit the subscribe button, clap for me. Men who never chase don't see women as their only source of happiness. They understand that their lives already carry value, with or without a partner. This belief is what people often call the abundance mindset, and it quietly shapes the way these men move through the world. Instead of attaching all their worth to whether someone likes them back, they recognize that their happiness comes from within, from their goals, their passions, and their sense of self. This inner stability becomes the foundation of attraction, because when you are not desperately seeking something, it has a way of seeking you. The truth is, most men who chase do it out of fear. They believe that if they miss this one woman, they will lose their only shot at love or intimacy. That fear makes them clingy, needy, and overbearing. They call too much, text too often, and invest too heavily in someone they barely know. All of this comes from the scarcity mindset, the belief that love is rare and must be fought for at any cost. Women can sense this energy immediately. It feels heavy, suffocating, and unbalanced. No one wants to feel like someone's entire happiness depends on them. The man with an abundance mindset behaves differently. He sees rejection not as a personal failure, but as a simple fact of life. If one connection doesn't work, he knows others will. If one woman isn't interested, he doesn't collapse into self-pity. Instead, he continues building his life, focusing on his health, career, friendships, and passions. He already feels full, so he doesn't try to grab onto scraps. That inner wholeness is what makes him attractive without even trying. Women notice that he isn't desperate for validation. They notice that he is living a meaningful life, and they naturally want to be part of it. This abundance mindset doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It is usually the result of years of personal growth. Men who carry it often have a sense of purpose that guides them. They may be building a career, pursuing creative passions, or dedicating themselves to something that gives them meaning. They discipline themselves in small ways, like working on their bodies, managing their time, or pushing themselves to achieve personal goals. They nurture friendships and community so that their social needs are met outside of romance. And perhaps most importantly, they practice gratitude. They notice what's good about their lives now, rather than obsessing over what they don't have. This daily awareness builds a sense of richness that no rejection can take away. When a man truly feels abundant, women can feel it in the way he carries himself. He doesn't hover around hoping for approval. He doesn't flood their phones with anxious messages. He doesn't panic if she takes a step back. Instead, he remains calm and open, inviting but not pressuring. That calm presence is magnetic. It makes women want to lean in, because he feels safe, centered, and strong. And when he does choose to commit, it comes from a place of strength, not fear. He isn't holding on because he thinks he can't do better. He's holding on because he genuinely values the connection. It's important to note that this mindset isn't about pretending not to care or playing games. Some men misunderstand abundance and think it means acting cold or detached. But real abundance is the opposite. It allows a man to care deeply without losing himself. He can give love freely because he doesn't fear that losing it will destroy him. He can let someone go if the relationship doesn't work, knowing his life will still be full. That balance of care and independence makes relationships healthier and more genuine. It removes the pressure and replaces it with choice. Imagine two men meeting the same woman. The first, caught in scarcity, immediately puts her on a pedestal. He showers her with compliments, buys her drinks, and does everything he can to win her attention. His energy feels desperate, and she senses that he is more interested in being chosen than in actually getting to know her. The second man, living with abundance, talks with her naturally. He laughs, shares stories, and then moves on to enjoy the rest of his night. She feels the difference. His presence feels refreshing because it's not tied to outcome. More often than not, she ends up seeking him out again. The abundance mindset extends beyond dating, too. It shapes the way a man views opportunities in every part of life. If he believes there is only one path to success, he panics when it doesn't work out. But if he sees the world as full of possibilities, he remains steady. Setbacks become lessons, not disasters. This way of thinking keeps him resilient, and resilience itself is attractive. Women respect men who can stand tall through failure because it shows inner strength. At its heart, the abundance mindset is about removing pressure. It tells women, I choose you, but I don't need you to complete me. That subtle difference creates space for true connection. A man who doesn't chase isn't avoiding intimacy. He's inviting it without forcing it. He understands that happiness is something he already owns, and that makes his love more powerful when he decides to share it. This is why men who never chase seem to attract effortlessly. They're not playing tricks, and they're not lucky. They've built lives so rich that women naturally gravitate toward them. Their secret is simple. They don't make women the source of their happiness. They already have it. That quiet self-sufficiency is the abundance mindset, and it's the reason they never need to chase. Men who never chase understand that self-worth comes before everything else. They do not allow their value to be determined by whether or not a woman likes them. They already know they are enough. This simple but powerful belief changes everything about the way they move, the way they speak, and the way they relate to others. They don't need approval to feel confident, and that makes them stand out in a world where so many men tie their identity to external validation. When a man lacks self-worth, he tends to overcompensate. He buys expensive gifts, makes big promises, or goes out of his way to impress, thinking these actions will prove his value. But the truth is, when you try too hard to prove yourself, you are actually showing insecurity. You are silently saying, I don't think I'm enough as I am, so I need to do extra to convince you. Women pick up on that energy instantly, and instead of being drawn in, they often lose respect. A man who knows his worth never tries to force someone to see it. He simply lives it. Self-worth shows itself in many small ways. It's in the way a man maintains his appearance, not for others, but because he respects himself. It's in the way he sets boundaries, refusing to accept disrespect no matter how attractive the person is. It's in the way he walks away when a situation doesn't align with his standards, rather than clinging to it out of fear of being alone. This quiet strength communicates, without words, that his value is not up for negotiation, and that confidence is magnetic. People, especially women, are drawn to men who stand firmly in their own worth. A man who puts his self-worth first doesn't see rejection as a wound to his ego. Instead, he sees it as simple incompatibility. If a woman isn't interested, he doesn't spiral into self-doubt. He doesn't spend nights wondering what's wrong with him. He knows that nothing is wrong. She simply wasn't the right fit. That calm acceptance keeps him grounded and free from bitterness. This is why men with high self-worth never appear desperate. They don't chase because they don't believe love is something that must be begged for. They believe love should meet them where they are. This mindset also affects the way they handle conflict. A man without self-worth may become defensive, needy, or overly apologetic in the face of problems, even when he isn't at fault. He might accept blame just to keep the peace, hoping not to lose the relationship. But a man who values himself handles conflict with balance. He can admit mistakes, but he can also stand his ground when he's right. He doesn't allow fear of abandonment to silence him. He knows that if someone leaves because he stood firm in his truth, then that person was never meant to stay. That self-respect preserves his dignity, even in hard moments. Another key element of self-worth is independence. Men who don't chase build lives that are full on their own. They have hobbies, friendships, goals, and passions that give them satisfaction. They don't wait for a partner to fill empty spaces inside them. Instead, they fill their lives themselves. This makes their presence feel richer and more balanced. When they enter a relationship, they are offering an addition to someone's life, not trying to take something from it. That shift in energy, from needing to giving, creates healthier, stronger bonds. There is also a deep psychological reason why self-worth is so attractive. Human beings naturally value what is valued.